What's up, YouTube? Bay Area Baller back again. We're going to be breaking down 49ers Bucs as well as recapping a Warriors win versus the Boston Celtics starting soon. YouTube, feels good to be back. Let's talk about this Warriors victory tonight against the first place Boston Celtics. It was a rematch of last year's NBA Finals, and it had a playoff vibe to it. Both teams wanted this game bad. The Warriors were missing Andrew Wiggins. He's out with a groin, and the Celtics were missing Al Horford. But nonetheless, it was a tight ball game for most of the game. Warriors felt like they were in control for the majority, and they ended up pulling out the victory 123-107, led by the Splash Brothers. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson were both sensational tonight. They combined for 66 points. And not only offensively were the Warriors clicking, but defensively. I mean, Jason Tatum, he struggled in last year's NBA Finals, and it was more of the same tonight. Jason Tatum from the field, he was 6 of 21, 2 for 9 from three-point range. He finished with 18 points. That's not going to get it done. And you're hearing buzz surrounding Jason Tatum being the front runner for the MVP trophy. And hey, I'm pushing back on that. I'm saying, what about Steph Curry, man? What about Steph Curry? He's been balling out. Now, the Warriors were coming into this game off back-to-back losses, so it was good to see them get back in the win column. I mentioned the Splash Brothers win off. Jonathan Kuminga, the resurgence of Jonathan Kuminga has been sensational. This guy's just been playing exceptionally well. He's attacking the rim, and he's getting in the paint and finishing with physicality. He's bumping guys, creating some space, finishing at the rim. He's playing defense. And not only that, an underrated aspect of Kuminga's game is his vision. Kuminga's making some nice passes out there. And for a young guy, for a forward with some good size, I love to see it. Let's say what's up to the chat. MF. What's up, MF? Thanks for coming by. He says, is Nick Bosa playing tomorrow? From what I know, it's like a game time decision, MF. I don't think anybody knows. I'm waiting on, unless Schefter tweets it out. Sometime Saturday night, he'll come out with those late night tweets, on actives and inactives. So I'm waiting on that. But I feel like with hamstrings, MF, I would not rush Nick Bosa out there. I wouldn't, because if he tweaks it, now he's missing multiple weeks. I say, hey, give him a week off. Let's rest him up. Try to get that hammy back feeling right. Because you don't want to mess around with hamstrings. You pull that thing and then you're missing potentially a month. So I'm not sure though, MF, but thanks for coming by. There he is. There he is. Bashar, 49er minded, right after this at 9 o'clock. In about 40 minutes, me and Bashar are going to be live on his channel. So we got the pregame over here, and then we're heading over to Bashar's channel, 49er Minded. Thanks for stopping by. He said, love seeing Kuminga do work. Yeah, Kuminga, he's just been getting better and better this last week or so, last week and a half. Defensively, offensively, it's really clicking. And he's just making the right basketball plays. He's not forcing anything. But Kuminga's got all the talent in the world, all the athleticism in the world. We know that. And he's starting to put all the puzzle pieces together to become an exceptional basketball player. Going back to this Warriors-Celtics game, Draymond finished with 11 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Solid game by Draymond. I wouldn't say it was spectacular, but he played 36 minutes, plus 9 on the court. Let's go to Looney. I know tonight I had more. Every time Looney does some work on the court, I yell out, Looney. And I said that a few times tonight, man. Looney, he's just rock steady. He was 3 for 4 from the field, had 15 boards. Whoa. 15 boards, 3 of them on the offensive glass, 7 points, 3 assists, 2 blocks. Looney, man. I got to get me a Looney jersey because that dude, I love Looney, man. Good to see him really turn his career around after a couple of injury-plagued seasons. MF says, been watching you on the Krug Show. Great work. I have a blast on the Krug Show, man. I love those guys. I was glad they gave me an opportunity because I have a lot of fun talking ball on there. And it's like those guys, they're right up my alley because they talk Giants, they talk Warriors, they talk Niners. And that's what I do. Those are my squads. So it feels like I fit right in. Thanks for coming on over to my channel too, MF. No doubt. I definitely see you in there. Always, bringing some fire to the comment section. Bashar says, hopefully we can finally see some progression with Wiseman and not keep sending him back to Santa Cruz. That's a great point, Bashar. I'm glad you brought that up. And I'm still optimistic about Wiseman. I think he has the tools. And I did watch some of his last preseason game, G League game last night, and he played well. And defensively, that's the thing with Wiseman. Teams were really attacking him on defense. They were just getting him into multiple ball screens. Even if he played the first ball screen okay, offenses were resetting it and running it at him again. And, when you're running him through 2 or 3 screen actions, you were getting a good look on either the first or second try. So in the G League, that's what I've been monitoring. How is he doing in the pick and roll coverage, right? Because you don't want him too far back off the screener because then you're leaving the ball handler coming off the screen wide open. There was a lot of that. So he is taking a step up. You don't want to get too close, right? Because then you're susceptible to get the blow by, right? So he's finding that balance. And that's where I do think it was the right move. It is the right move to give him 20, 25 minutes a game in the G League just so he can get that feel. The hands with Wiseman, it's an area of concern. I mean, that hand-eye coordination, catching balls in tight areas, it's something that you want to see consistently. Yeah, no doubt. But still recapping this victory tonight by the Golden State Warriors. We said both the Splash Brothers, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, not only did they put up, a combined 66 points, but that both of them shot better than 50% from the field. So they were extremely efficient. Jordan Poole, on the other hand, you see 5 of 16 from the field. You say, okay, that wasn't efficient. He was 1 for 9 from 3-point range. That's not good. He was 9 of 10 from the free throw line. Jordan Poole, let me remind you, he was the number 1 free throw shooter on a percentage basis last season. So Jordan Poole can stroke it from the stripe. But he struggled from the field. Something I've noticed with Jordan Poole, the guy's a sensational ball handler, right? He's got a repertoire in his bag that goes deep, right? He's got all the moves. But sometimes he starts moving so fast that he takes shots while he's off balance. So you want to see him kind of play with a better pace sometimes. I mean, when he's going off, when Jordan Poole's hot, there ain't no stopping him. The guy can get his shot off on anybody, right? But just play a little more under control. I think that would help his field goal percentage because he's going so fast. He's moving 100 miles an hour. All right. We talked Dubs. I feel like, they got out. They're still struggling on the road. but I feel like they're going to snap out of it here soon. I'm optimistic in terms of on the road. At home, they've been playing great at home, right? But let's switch it over to the Niners. Niners are taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers tomorrow. Tom Brady is coming to the Bay. And I feel like it's a game the 49ers should win. I thought last week the Dolphins were going to give the Niners some problems. And Tua was awful. The Dolphins had some receivers running open, right? Tyreek Hill, Jeff Wilson was open on a wheel route, and Tua was just, he was missing dudes. So, hey, I'll take it, right? But, coming in tomorrow, yeah, MF, that's right where I'm going. That's right where I'm going. Let's talk about the keys to the game. Buccaneers, 49ers, right? Because the first one I'm looking at is the 49ers need to tackle well because Tom Brady, this Tampa Bay offense, the offensive line is bad. They got a piss poor offensive line. In fact, let's see. I subscribe to PFF. Let's see if I can pull up the PFF grades for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers squad. That way we could see what we're working with. All right, here we go. All right, let's look defensively. Let's start out checking out the Bucs on defense. Now, that linebacker core, I'm shocked that Devin White is a 43.1 grade on PFF. I mean, I don't watch every snap of the Tampa Bay Bucs, but Devin White is a playmaker. Todd Bowles blitzes him, puts him in advantageous situations to get pressure on the quarterback. Devin White is one of the fastest, highest accelerated linebackers in all the NFL. The dude's an athletic freak. He can play sideline to sideline. I understand in coverage, you can kind of manipulate Devin White. He's not Fred Warner in coverage. Fred Warner's the best coverage linebacker in all of the NFL. The guy, and this goes back to when Fred Warner was at BYU, he was playing like a slot role. It was almost like a slot corner linebacker hybrid. So that really developed Warner's coverage skills. I got to go big screen for this. When Warner drops into coverage, a lot of these linebackers are covering grass, right? A lot of these NFL linebackers dropping in zone coverage. Fred Warner keeps his head on a swivel. He knows what routes are coming his direction, and that's why he can jump routes, make pass breakups. That's what separates Fred Warner from every other linebacker. He can play the run like a linebacker has to. You got to get your nose dirty, and you got to hit some people. Fred Warner can do it. He checks that. And then in pass coverage, the dude's the best coverage linebacker in the NFL. And actually, the only player I think is even remotely close to Fred Warner in terms of dropping in zone coverage is also going to be in this game, and it's Levante David. Levante David is also really good in zone, just in coverage in general. So I think we're seeing the two best linebacker cores in all of the NFL tomorrow with the 49ers, Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, Aziz. And then with the Bucs, you got Devin White, you got Levante David. I think those two are studs. So it'll be fun to watch. All right, but still looking at, let's see if I can zoom in on this a little bit. Yeah, let's do that. So Antoine Winfield's a good player. I know he was injured. Looks like PFF doesn't expect him to play because he's not on their depth chart right here. I believe that's Logan Ryan, Keanu Neal. They have projected to start at safety. The corners, Carlton Davis and Jamal Dean. Jamel Dean with the higher grade, according to PFF, 80, as opposed to Carlton Davis, who the Bucs brought back at a hefty price with a grade of 61. And on the D-line, Shaquille Barrett's out. He got hurt either early in the year or in training camp. I'm looking at Vita Vea. Vita Vea is a beast, dude. That guy, you do not want to get too many one-on-one matchups. Like if the Bucs were smart, they would put Vita Vea over Daniel Brunskill. Unless Burford's back. They've kind of been rotating those two. And I had a tweet earlier. PFF thinks Daniel Brunskill is superior to Spencer Burford. Spencer Burford's grade was like a 50. Check my Twitter for the exact numbers. Want to say Burford's overall grade was a 50 and Brunskill was like 66 so far on the year. Burford has played more snaps. So it'll be interesting to see who Kyle Shanahan starts at right guard tomorrow. But if the Bucs were smart, they'd put Vita Vea over there to attack the right guard because Vita Vea is very powerful. He can push the pocket, right? He's not going to get a ton of sacks, but what Vita Vea can do is he can push the pocket and compress that thing to make it harder for Purdy to throw the ball, right? It's harder to throw the ball when you got traffic crunching in on you. MF says, is PFF right? It's not right. It's not always right. You know, I do see things that correlate, like, for instance, Mike McGlinchey. We see Mike McGlinchey in pass protection, and we say, man, you know, McGlinchey isn't great in pass pro, right? And then you look at the run blocking grade, and I feel like McGlinchey is pretty good in the run game. And when you look at PFF's grades of Mike, that matches up because he tends to have a good run blocking grade and a below average pass blocking grade. So while is PFF right? I can't say they're right all the time, but some of their grades do make sense to me. Although the Burford one is a bit head scratching. I thought Spencer Burford's been solid this year, but PFF's grade on him, you know, with it being around 50 or 49, that would indicate that Burford's been bad. So take that for what it's worth. I'm just providing the numbers, MF. I like to use it as a talking point. He says Burford's pass blocking is good. And PFF agrees with you, and I agree with you. They're actually dinging him in his run blocking grade. His pass block is a tick higher than his run blocking. Bashar says PFF is way off when it comes to McGlinchey. Let's see. Maybe I'll after we go through the Bucs, I'll pull up the Niners real quick. Don't you think McGlinchey's run blocking is taking a step back? It used to be top in the NFL. I feel like we have been running left more than previous years. We're really running it behind Banks, behind Trent Williams. So you might be onto something there, Bashar. Maybe it's something to keep an extra eye on going into tomorrow's game. All right, we touched on the defense. Let's check out their offense. Let's check on their offense real quick. All right. Now, it's going to be a quick passing game. And that's why my number one key was the 49ers need to tackle well, because this offensive line is not that good for Tom Brady. So Tom's old, right? He's not trying to get hit. He's been getting the ball out quick. So if you tackle well, that's going to limit the yards after the catch. They've really been throwing it to Chris Godwin, a lot of quick stuff, wide receiver screens, tunnel screens, bubble screens, and also to the running backs a lot. Tom's been checking down to Leonard Fournette and Rachaad White a lot. So if you got those guys in PPR, you might be doing pretty good. Although 49ers, good defense. I'm actually conflicted. I got to decide if I'm starting Daniel Jones or Tom Brady in my 2 quarterback league. I got to win to lock in my playoff spot. If I lose, I could still get in the playoffs, but I would need some help. I need one of 2 or 3 other guys to lose. But I'm debating in my head. Daniel Jones against the Philadelphia Eagles or Tom Brady against the 49ers. We'll see. I'll wake up tomorrow morning and however I'm feeling, we'll roll. But let me know in the comments how you guys feel about that. If your playoffs wrong. Daniel Jones, Tom Brady. All right, getting back to looking at this Bucs offense. Julio Jones has looked pretty good. You know, he missed a few games earlier on in the season. They're not playing him a ton of snaps. But I've seen him out there, and he's still got some juice. You still got to respect Julio. All right, and Mike Evans, He's kind of cooled off, had a few touchdowns early on in the season. Lately, Mike Evans, yeah, he did have a big time pass interference call that helped the Bucs get into a touchdown rate, put him in position to score a game-winning touchdown last week. And Mike Evans, you can never sleep on this guy. Mike Evans he's a really good wide receiver. I've always liked Mike Evans. He's 6'5", but he's got really good feet. When you watch Mike Evans run his routes, you're like, all right, for a 6'5" dude, this guy's got phenomenal feet work. And we know he's a legitimate red zone threat. The Bucs do not run the ball well. Last in the NFL in rushing. Last I checked that last week. So unless something's changed in the last 7 days, the Bucs struggle to run the ball. 49ers have a stout run defense. And the forecast says this game is going to be raining tomorrow. Rain is in the forecast. So that tends to make me believe whatever team is going to kind of force their will at the line of scrimmage, run the ball, kind of control the line. That's going to be huge. That's going to dictate who wins this game. And that's why I think the 49ers have the advantage there in terms of running the ball with McCaffrey. Jordan Mason. Can we get Jordan Mason 10 touches? Can we get him double-digit touches? I think that's a good idea. He's looked good. I know we're elevating Tevin Coleman. When you see that, it always makes me say, is Shanahan going to roll with Tevin Coleman? We might see kind of a 3-back approach with McCaffrey, Coleman, and Mason all getting some touches. I could see that. But I'm hoping predominantly it's McCaffrey. It's Jordan Mason. Mason looked really good last week. I think he earned himself some touches. See if anything else is popping out at me. Brady, everyone loves to speculate. Is Tom Brady coming back to the Bay, right? Quarterback position, Brock. I like Brock. I thought Brock played pretty well. Oh, this is another thing I wanted to mention. What the Miami Dolphins did last week, I feel like is good preparation for what I expect Todd Bowles to do in the game tomorrow, right? We all saw last week Miami was loading the box, putting 6 or 7 guys across the line of scrimmage, and sometimes they were sending the dogs. They were sending all 6 guys at Purdy, and he needed to get the ball out quick. But sometimes they were showing it, and they were dropping a couple guys back. They were only rushing 4. They were showing 7, but then dropping 3 back. So they were really mixing it up. And the Dolphins had success getting free rushers. That was the play Jimmy Garoppolo got injured on, right? There's a free rusher coming off the left side. McGlinchey doesn't hold up on Phillips on the right side. You're getting hit by multiple guys, and unfortunately, Jimmy goes down. But you got to limit the free rushers, and that's on you, Kyle. That's on you, Forrester, offensive line coach. You guys got to eliminate the free rushers. Bashar says, setting up for our show. That's right. 9 o'clock. It's going down on Bashar's channel, 49er Minded. I'm going to be there. We're going to be talking ball, whatever the hell Bashar wants to talk about. So that's going down. MF says, I'm flying up for the game tomorrow morning from Burbank. Is TDP still in the equation? Oh, that's a good question, MF. I mean, right now I would say no. He didn't do nothing last week. Jordan Mason's in the mix. Jordan Mason ran for over 6 yards a clip last week. We know McCaffrey is going to get touches. He's going to get his work. And then Tevin Coleman is being called up. Is TDP even suiting up tomorrow? I don't know. I might not even think so, MF. TDP might not even suit up tomorrow. I mean, how many times do we suit up 4 backs plus use check? So I think that indicates we're not seeing TDP tomorrow. But Todd Bowles is one of the most respected defensive minds in the NFL. And we're talking about the head coach for the Bucs, right? Bruce Arians stepped down. Todd Bowles took over. And Todd Bowles really, he loves to blitz, but he likes to confuse the quarterback, especially now you got a rookie in there. And I think we're going to see a lot of blitzes and a lot of disguise. Like I said, Devin White is a really good at blitzing. Todd Bowles is going to have him looping in from the second level, and they're going to put him around the line of scrimmage. So just watch Devin White blitzing because that dude's speed and acceleration is off the charts. He can get to the quarterback in a hurry. But you don't know when he's coming. That's the thing. The offensive line's looking at the down linemen, accounting for them. And that's when Devin White, as soon as you stop thinking about him, he'll sneak in and either get a pressure or a sack. And you just hope it's not a game-changing play where there's a fumble or, anytime you get hit while you're throwing is risky. So another key to the game I had was we talked about Todd Bowles blitzing is identifying the blitz, right? And having the hot routes ready to go. Receivers knowing, hey, I'm hot here. Purdy knowing, okay, here's the blitz. This is my hot read. We got to eliminate the free rushers. When you have free rushers, you're asking for trouble, all right? Because that means defensives are getting to the quarterback within a second and a half. I mean, Purdy did it last week. He did it. He hit Kittle, right? With the dolphin all over him in his face. But let's identify the blitz. Let's pick it up. All right? That's a key. And then, especially with the forecast being rain, let's control the ball. You don't want to keep giving it back to Tom because he will make you pay if you're constantly, going 3 and out or you're only running 4 or 5 plays and then you're punting it away. So let's control the ball. Let's run it with some level of success, at least. I like that 4 yard per carry mark. That kind of tells me, all right, if you're averaging over 4, it's like, all right, you're pretty efficient. You're doing solid. Anything over 5 or 6 yards of carry is insane. As soon as you start dipping down towards 3, your yards per carries for the backs is around 3. Could be asking for trouble. It's hard to sustain drives and run it consistently if you're only getting around 3 yards per carry. So let's get that north of 4. All right. Hey, those are my keys for the game. Let's hit up the chat, and then I'm going to wrap this thing up because in about 15 minutes, I'm going to be going on live, 49er Minded with Bashar. MF says Brady will get flustered by Greenlaw, Warner, and Aziz. I'd love if he got flustered by Nick Bosa. That could be the guy who really makes a huge impact on the game, right? If Bosa's getting there. Or Armstead. Armstead came back last week. I thought he was solid last week. He was pushing the pocket. He impacted Tua on a couple of those errant throws. And anytime you can get pressure, like interior pressure in Brady's face, it's a recipe for success. Brady can be more susceptible to mistakes when he has that pressure coming right in his face. So, but absolutely. I mean, I think we have the best linebacking core in the NFL, and I think the Bucs are not too far behind. But hey, fellas, thanks for chopping it up Saturday night. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. I'm going to be doing some more of these. I got to mix in some more because I have a blast talking to y'all. So talk to y'all soon. Catch me on Bashar's channel in 15 minutes. I'm out.